This is your math gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic. All right, here's three more problems involving simple interest, and we're going to be using a calculator to do these three problems. So here's the first one. Ling put $6,350 in the bank at an annual interest rate of 6.5%. How much interest had she earned after 85 days? So remember, we're going to use interest equals principal times rate times time. And our principal is how much money she put in the bank, so let's just put 6350. Now the rate is 6.5%. You want to write that as a decimal. So 6.5% is 0.065. And the time, it's given in days. Remember, T in this formula talks about years, so we have to do 85 days out of 365 days a year. So for our formula, we're going to put in 6350. I know really it's a dollar sign. You could put the dollar sign in, but when we write our final answer, we'll do that. Times the rate, which is 0.065, times the time, which is 85 over 365. So now you want to get out your calculator, and the three numbers in the numerator here, remember you could think of these as over 1 if you want. You're going to multiply the top three numbers, 6350 times 0.065 times 85, and then divide by 365. And then whatever you get in your calculator, remember you can only round to the nearest cent. That's the way money works. So then round your answer to the nearest cent. So go ahead and try that in your own calculator. All right, I put it in my calculator, and I'm going to get this much money. If I round it to the nearest cents, $96.12. Now, if you did it, your calculator should have come out 96.11986. But when you round it, that's going to round up to 12 cents. So that is our answer. Make sure your answer is in dollars because it's asking how much interest she earned. So all we're looking for is the interest. All right, here's the next one. Melanie got a home loan for $346,000 at 5.75% simple interest rate. Usually it's not like that when you get a home loan, but we're just going to pretend that's the case. And she paid interest only for 15 years. In other words, she didn't have to make any payments. And I'm not really specifying if she paid it once a month or once a year, but let's just assume she paid it every year or at the end of 15 years. Maybe they didn't care. The question, though, is how much interest had she paid after 15 years? So again, we've got interest equals principal times rate times time. So what is the principal? That's this 346,000. And what's the rate? Well, 5.75% is the rate. Let's just write that as a decimal. 0.0575. Remember, you need to move the decimal 2 to the left because percent means divide by 100. And how long? In years. Well, it tells us 15 years, so that will be 15. So our interest is just multiplying all those three together. 346,000 times 0.0575 times 15. So you want to put that all on your calculator. And by the way, you could put the dollar sign here, and that way your answer is going to automatically be in dollars. And then you want to round it to the nearest cent. So go ahead and try that in your own calculator. All right, when I did it, I got 298,425. No rounding, it was actually that much money. Woo! A lot of money in interest. So you could see that it doesn't take long to like double what you pay for a house, right? So she bought it for 346,000. The interest alone after 15 years is this. So that's about 300,000, right? So after 30 years, you're paying about 600,000, way more than the house cost if you weren't making payments all the way along. Now, another thing I wanted to mention about these problems I'm doing with a calculator, you should probably always enter the numbers twice because it's very easy to make a mistake when you enter it or press some wrong button. So I suggest you, do your calculations twice. All right, third problem. Tim put $4,200 in a new account at 5% interest rate for 3.5 years and then withdrew all the money from the account. How much did he withdraw? Okay, so what we need to figure out is the interest he made, and then he's going to get the amount he put in plus the interest. So first let's start off with the interest. So we need to know the principal, the rate, and the time. So how much money did he put in? $4,200. What was the rate? 5%. Okay, now 5% you can either write as 0.05 or 5/100ths or 1/20th. Just keep in mind people write this in different ways. You want to rewrite it either as a decimal or as a fraction, reduced or not. And what about the time here? Well, the time is 3.5 years. So you can either write 3.5 or 3.5 or 7/2. Just giving you options. Somebody might put in 0.05 and 3.5. Another person might do it with the fractions. Let's just do it both ways to get the interest. And you can do this with or without a calculator, I think. I don't think this was going to be too hard. It's going to be the principal, 4,200. So I'm going to do it without a calculator first, just for fun. So I'm going to write that as 5/100ths because it's easy to cancel out those zeros if I do that. So I put 5/100ths times the 7/2. Remember, when you multiply with fractions, you want to write it as an improper fraction, times 7/2. All right, so let's see how this works without a calculator. That 100 is going to cancel with those two extra zeros. And this 2 is going to go into that 42, right, to make that a 21. These are both ones down here. So in the end, I'm not sure I really want to do that long way, but it's not too hard because 21 times 5 is 105, and then times 7. So it looks to me like it's 735, and I didn't need a calculator. And this is just practicing my arithmetic skills. Or if I didn't have a calculator on hand, I can get it. So, oh, by the way, that's not the answer yet. That's just the interest, right? So be careful here. Okay, before going and getting the final answer, how about if you just wanted to use a calculator? You would just put in 4,200. When you use a calculator, you may as well just use decimals. Times the 0.05 times the 3.5. Okay, so just get out your calculator and see if you get 735 doing it that way as well. I did it on my calculator and I got 735. So, okay, using a calculator, just doing fractions, pretty simple numbers, $735 in interest. Now let's go back to the question. How much money did he withdraw? He withdrew all the money in the account. So he has to take he gets all the 4,200 that he put in plus the 735. So here's the money, the 735. You get to add to that your 4,200, right? Which is 4,935. So he withdrew, oops, $4,935. Okay. All right, so the interest he earned was 735, so he had that much more money. All right, so we've done a lot of problems with simple interest. On the next video, I'm going to show you how to figure out the rate if you weren't given the rate, but you knew everything else, how much money you put in the account, how long it was in the account, and how much interest was earned. This is your Math Gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic.